cha-cha.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it might be. Listeners, 40 Waters, as I have dubbed all of you, we are welcome. It's a wonderful title. Welcome to the 40 Watt Podcast. My name is Phillip. Going to take care of some housekeeping things here at the beginning of the episode like we do. Remember to, if you are watching this on YouTube, please hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. I really down. I don't really care. Just do something and leave a comment. If you are listening to the audio version of the podcast, please make sure that you go and rate, review the podcast, share it with a friend, do all those things. Make sure you check out the links below, either in the description of the video or in the audio description. You're going to find a bunch of cool links there. You're going to find links to my social media. I added a Twitter. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I added a Twitter because apparently it was a thing. So find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can support the show at patreon.com/40watt podcast. Please do. I'll say it again. Apparently repetition's the key. Support the podcast at almost at 40wattpodcast.com. That's also a thing, but at patreon.com/40watt podcast, where for as little as $3 a month or as much as you want to give. I've been thinking about, just for shits and giggles, to make like a $250 tier just to see if it happens. I will write you an album. I don't care. I know Emily's thing is writing songs, so
I did do that. I did that for Noah Barnett. I liked it. I play that song in demos all the time. I'm like, thank God someone made me write something. Damn.
Yeah. So go ahead, support the podcast, and remember that 25% of proceeds from the Patreon do go to charity. This year, this December, I will donate 25% of everything brought in for the year to St. Jude Children's Hospital. It's a totally worthy charity. It's probably my favorite charity. I raise money for them every year, and this is just one more way I can do it. We have merch. Go down there, check out t-shirts, including my favorite that says buy vinyl because streaming doesn't pay shit.
This is true.
That is very true, unfortunately. And last but not least, we have been added to the Reverb affiliate program. So if you go down below, you can find my Reverb affiliate link. Click the link, sign up, sell shit, buy shit, and I get a little bit of a kickback at no extra cost to you to support the show. I really appreciate it.
If you really want to support Phillip, just create an account.
That helps. Just create an account. That's all you got to do.
Takes $5.
Exactly. It's actually $1 for created accounts. It's $5
for first purchase,
sale or purchase. Yes.
And then 1% of everything after that,
and 10% of digital. So buy all the plugins. Just buy all of the digital stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a really cool program for digital stuff. But let's be honest, people aren't buying a ton of digital stuff through Reverb, so it's okay. We'll see. I've had a few people sign up. I really appreciate y'all that have. And that's enough. That's like, I got it in less than 5 minutes. We're good, right? Yes. All right. That's my self-selling. I'm not good at it, y'all. I've gotten getting better at it. Anyway. So
at least you remember to do it at the top of the podcast. I forget at the end. You're like, I guess this is the time to stop. Just hit the 30 seconds forward until I get to the next podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I had enough people tell me that that's what I needed to do. So I'm paying attention to people that know more than I do. So
they're right. I'm just forgetful.
So welcoming back to the podcast, Emily Harris from the Get Offset podcast. Very, very thankful she's willing to jump in. This is sort of actually a last minute planned episode. I don't even mind saying it because I'm real with y'all.
Second, I'm 2 for 2 on last minute. There she is.
There it is. It's awesome. It's like, and Emily, after the last one, we talked about doing another one. I didn't know it'd be this kind of sudden, but I'm glad to have you back. We're going to talk about some fun things that we were just kind of riffing on before we hit record, as I'm starting to try to figure out, where my head is today. Cause I've had, like I was saying, I have had a day from hell today. It's been nuts. How's your day been?
It's been good. I did some work, tried to get a little ahead on things. It took a couple hours. It was my mom's last day in town. She's been staying with my brother because he has a daughter and she wants to see her grandbaby. But she came over and we played some guitar because, as I've said a lot, my mom gave me my first guitar lessons. I play guitar because I knew she had one. And since quarantine, I told her I thought she needed to get a hobby during quarantine and that she should play guitar. And she said, well, someone stole my tuner, but if you send me a tuner and some new strings, maybe I'll do it. I'm like, yeah, that's a bluff I can call.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's
So I
all.
sent her a tuner, and I convinced her to sign up for Fender Play, and though
Oh,
not through my affiliate link. Damn it. And thanks, Mom. And, yes, she came over. We actually have matching jazz masters now, so she just wanted to play a bunch of my guitars. I kind of explained some guitar effects to her. I gave her my Fender Mustang GTX 100 because she would use it more than I would.
yeah.
And we played, what's that Led Zeppelin song? Da 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 da. Is it Over the Hills and Far Away?
Oh, that might be it. I am so bad at song titles. I am so bad at it.
Yeah.
I'm an album listener, so sometimes I'm more like, oh, well, track 4. I have no idea what it's called, but track 4.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So my day was way less fun. It had way less guitar gear in it though. But we're gonna start because you and I we're pedal twins for the last week or so. I want to talk about this because I promised Jesse I'd quit tagging him and stuff. So I'm just going to talk about it instead. So we have both snagged the 3MUF 14 by Tech.
Oh, yeah.
Jesse over there. I am not a muff person. I'm not a big
I'm
muff.
not either.
Yeah,
But
and
I love this.
yeah, me too. So that's what Jesse
Yeah.
told me. Not even trying to sell his own pedal. He was like, what you need is a muff pedal that you can take the tone circuit out of because
Yes.
the mids jump up. Yeah, you take that, you hit that bypass on the tone,
Yeah.
and
It just opens it up.
it does. I think
Yeah.
honestly, with that and the mid drive, I think you start
Yes.
to get into. I think I told you, you get into like tone bender
Bender.
territory. It's
Yeah.
not exact, and there are gonna be a bunch of people that yell at me in the comments. Well, no, please
Well, they
yell
haven't
at me in the
played
comments.
one.
Yeah.
Shut up. Put up or shut up.
Well,
Get this and then yell at me. Do not yell at me until you buy this and play it yourself, and then you
there
can
you
yell
go.
at me all you want.
That's exactly right. Or you can go over to Emily's demo and listen to it. My demo will be up hopefully at some point. I haven't had a chance to sit down and do it, but I spent some time with it yesterday and actually woke up early this morning to play it, to just play it some more. I'm super pumped with this. I've got to get inside and mess with the trim pot.
There's a trim pot and there's some socketed diodes.
Yeah,
transistors.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love when companies socket things so you can switch them out and try it out. You know what? I know because I think you already have one of these as well, or you may have had it. Another one that oddly has socketed op amps is the Wish.com Klon. They're socketed, so you can swap them out if you want to.
I sent mine to Ryan Burke from 60 Cycle Hum.
Nice.
I love that demo because, honest to God, I just trolled the shit out of that demo, and I never turned the volume up. And I was like, I said this is only worth $40 if I get $40 in ad revenue on YouTube, and I'll be damned, I've gotten $45 of ad revenue from that video on YouTube. It's my highest earner because people just keep fucking they keep hate commenting on it. I'm like, yep, kick me up that algorithm. I don't care.
That's what I'm like. Look, if you hate things, please comment. Just let me know. Just comment. Just react. That's all I care about.
You want to call me ugly in my video? Fine.
Yeah, bring it on. I'll do it. But yeah, I'm pumped about this pedal. I also got I don't remember if I talked about it in the last episode because I don't think I had it yet. The Foxy Tone fuzz as well. I've been on this crazy fuzz, like just accumulation kick. Like if it's a neat interesting fuzz.
Yeah, is that basically a Fox Tone machine, I assume, from the name?
Yeah, it's
I have the Tysco. That's basically what the Tysco fuzz is. Oh, that does not work well on the camera, but
oh yeah. See this let's see if I can make this work.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's covered in orange crushed velvet.
How does Andrew not have that?
I posted it in the Discord, by the way. If you are a Patreon of the Get Offset podcast, you can hang out in their Discord. Similarly, if you're a Patreon of my podcast, you can hang out in my Discord with all three of us. It's awesome. It's good. It's growing though. We're getting new folks all the time. All the time, as in every couple of weeks. So yeah, it sounds really awesome before you ever kick the octave in. And then when you kick the octave in, you can just flip the switch up. It gets into synth territory. It's so
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
And so I've got a demo of I've recorded some audio clips of that one for a demo that I'm not completely happy with yet. Because I want to bring my I want to get my AC30 in here and play through it. I think it'll
I'm
sound much
sorry.
better.
Did you just hear my cat?
I did.
Yes.
I think it'll sound even better through my AC30 than it does through like a Fender style amp. So, but yeah, so let's talk about a couple of things. This is a fun one for me. My week coming up. Part of the reason this week is so crazy before things exploded at work. This is my first week since 2019 with 3 gigs in a week.
Well, this is a lot of people's first times having gigs in a year. So
I know, it's nuts.
oh my gosh.
And they just started to pile in. It was like first it was a Wednesday night gig. I've got that gig, which we're recording on a Tuesday. So tomorrow night, it will have already happened by the time this goes live. That one had been planned for a little while. And then I got a message on Sunday from a guy who books a bar in another town, said, "Hey, can your band play on Saturday?" I was like, "I don't know if they can, but let's do it." And then
maybe, yes.
Yeah, you put together players, you make it happen. And then another buddy of mine messaged me yesterday and said, "Hey, we've got this gig. Our guitar player can't make it. Can you come fill in?" I was like, "Yep, I'll do it." I love last minute gigs. They're so much fun because I like it when the expectations are a little lower and they also know that, hey, I'm getting a guy who's going to probably wing it for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a blast. I'm so pumped to play.
3.5 hours. Whoo, boy.
Oh yeah. So tomorrow night's 3 hours, Friday night's 3.5 hours, Saturday night's almost 4 hours. So bar gigs.
Yeah, man, yeah. Can you tell that I mostly play like 4-bill gigs?
I wish. That's the life I want to get into. That's the life I want to get into. These 4-hour gigs, they'll kill you.
I did a bunch of those one summer, and I was glad I finally got the tuna tone, which weighs all of 5 pounds, because setting up on a stage because it was the gigs themselves were it was basically 2 90-minute shows, but the only time we had to rehearse was starting at noon. So starting at noon, the band got to the venue and the singers would kind of rotate in and out, and we'd all rehearse. So I was basically like standing with a guitar for 8 hours
all day. Yeah,
all day. Oh my
gosh.
That's
when those are the gigs that this is the wrong guitar for.
No, don't bring that.
Yeah, I don't,
unless you are very cozy with your chiropractor.
Yeah, I typically don't take the Les Paul for the 4-hour gigs, or if I do, it's for a very specific couple of songs.
You know would be a great guitar for those gigs?
What's that?
The Jazzmaster Acoustasonic.
No, thank you. So I'm gonna be controversial and be that guy I have not played the Jazzmaster, but I did play both the Telecaster and the Strat version. And they are not my thing.
Okay, that's fine.
It's just not my thing. I don't think they're trash. I don't think they shouldn't exist like some of the other trolls on the internet that have been, ranting on about it.
Yeah.
They're just not my thing. They don't fit my gig.
If you're a singer-songwriter or primarily a rhythm guitarist and you go between acoustic and electric, I think it's amazing. I think it's probably like exactly what you want and need, and you should get one.
I think so too.
You should use one of our affiliate links.
Yes. Click the affiliate links, buy things. Appreciate it. Look, completely shilling. I love the fact that I'm just completely shilling at this point.
People always call demo artists shills because they're like, "Oh, but you got paid by the person who made this pedal to do the demo, and then you got to keep the pedal." I'm like, yeah, but truly what I want you to do is click on my affiliate link.
Well, even then,
it's
like, okay, asshole on the internet. Here's the deal. You can let demo artists make some money making these demos and keeping some gear, or you just don't get to hear what it sounds like before you blind buy it because you live in a podunk town that doesn't carry any of the shit you want to buy.
Yep, that's where I grew up. Morrow, Ohio. Shout out.
Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Hey, I've always wanted to go to Clarksdale.
Clarksdale's, it's a hell of a town. I think it's a magical place. There are a lot of people.
Clarksdale. It's a hell of a town. I always wanted to go to that blues festival there, but I could never convince my husband to do it when we lived in Nashville.
Ooh, which one?
I don't know.
Juke Joint Fest? Juke Joint?
Juke Joint. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big one. I played that a few weeks ago, actually. So I used to work at a bar in Clarksdale. I'm not sure I've mentioned this on the podcast, actually. I used to be the assistant manager of Ground Zero Blues Club in Clarksdale.
Or assistant to the manager.
No, I was actually assistant manager, which actually meant I managed more nights than not. But I was also the audio engineer for years. And so, yes, for those of you that have heard of Ground Zero Blues Club, that means Morgan Freeman was my boss. He was the owner of the club, one of the co-owners of the club. But I got to see some great acts come through there. Met Willie Nelson there. Willie came through. He was a badass. Actually, so I'm going to tell this story because I don't think I've told this story on the podcast. Podcast listeners, 40 Waters, if you've heard me tell the story, I'm sorry. You're going to hear it again because this is the story that I die happy telling, right? So I'm playing Ground Zero on like a Thursday night. It may have been a Wednesday night. It's like there's 6 people in the bar, not counting the bartender. And you know, you're on stage, you can't see, lights are in your face, right? But I can tell there's not many people out there. We're playing, we almost get through at the first set. And this woman who walks up to the stage, she's like the matriarch of Clarksdale. Like this woman, she used to be editor of the paper. Like she's big deal in town. She walks up to me, says, "Hey, Phillip, the guy I'm sitting with wants to buy you a beer and talk music with you during your break. That cool?" I was like, "Yeah, no problem. You know, anybody's going to buy me a beer, I'll sit and talk all the music they want to talk with me." So I do the last song of the set. I get off stage, head to the bar to go get my beer. And the sound guy, my buddy Walt, walks up and says, "So is it nerve-wracking?" I was like, "What?" He said, "Playing in front of Robert Plant." And that's when I put 2 and 2 together. And Robert Plant bought me a beer and sat and talked music with me for 45 minutes.
Nice. I've heard he's very friendly.
He is. In fact, the phrase that will go on my epitaph is, "You're a really great guitar player."
Oh, man, yes. I think that's something that one could ride high on for the rest of their lives.
Oh, yeah. I just don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my life after that moment because it's all downhill after that, right?
You're like, damn it, I didn't expect to peak tonight.
Yeah, on a night with 6 people in the bar.
Man, I had a friend who was at a record store called Grimey's in Nashville, maybe. And Robert Plant was there because he was trying to record the second album with Alison Krauss. It never happened. And my friend, well, I shouldn't say my friend. I barely knew this guy, and I didn't like him very much. But
his acquaintance.
He was in line in front of Robert Plant. He was buying a Doors album, and Robert Plant was, "Oh, Jim Morrison, I knew him." Just what a flex,
right?
Shit.
What a wild.
And then I saw Robert Plant at the Americana Awards, and he covered a Low song, a song by that slowcore band Low.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, what? This is amazing.
That's
Robert
awesome.
Plant's covering Low. Shit. He's hip, dude.
Oh yeah, he loves Clarksdale. He comes to Clarksdale pretty regularly, actually, or it did. We're talk pre-COVID, which is a million years. So he used to come all the time, and actually for the Sunflower River Blues Festival, that's the August Blues Festival in Clarksdale. That's the one that's a little more like a festival. There's a main stage. That's where the main acts are. Juke Joint Festival is more like it's a circus. It's insane.
Is it more like a South by with like a bunch of different bar venues?
Exactly it. And like, live stages outside all over the place, just street musicians. It's part like country fair. But so Sunflower was having their 25th annual Sunflower Blues Festival. And he was the headliner for the 25th annual Sunflower River Blues Festival. And he played it for free. Yeah. He played it for free because he loves Clarksdale. Actually, you can't see it on the other side of the SVT. There's a poster for that festival. But
that's awesome.
Oh yeah. And so Clarksdale's like that magical place. Like people just show up there. There's a guy, shout out to EY, who I know does not listen to this podcast, but that's okay. EY is he's from Japan. He every year except last year. He comes to Clarksdale and just lives there for 2.5 months every year, which is as long as he can before he has to go back. And he just or we get like, you'll wander through town and randomly John Krasinski's in town, or a great story. I love
or the guy from QAnon.
Jim Watkins. Yeah, that's a fun story too. Don't know what's going on there, but I did watch the episode and I saw he rented a space, which is my uncle had a law firm in that same building where he opened an office in. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's crazy.
So that guy just decided, I want to look like an old-timey cartoon villain who is a baron of a railroad company. I'm going to tie a damsel to the train tracks.
Right. No, he went full on.
What's because Roger Stone did, and he just wanted to be like Roger Stone. Like, you just got to look the part.
What a wild TV series that was, or mini series.
I knew it was going to be weird.
Yeah.
But I was not prepared. I don't think one can prepare themselves for how like absolutely messed up.
Oh, it was jacked. It was way jacked. And and then there's the character. Welcome to 40 Watt Podcast, the QAnon conspiracy podcast. Wait, I'm sorry. Would it be conspiracies about the QAnon conspiracy? There we go. The counter conspiracy podcast.
The counter conspiracy. I like counter conspiracy. I've never heard that.
Me either. I like that.
Yeah, it's like counterintelligence.
But the redemption arc of Fred Brennan during that entire series, like, it's crazy. He's a good follow on Twitter too, by the way, if you don't follow him.
Yeah, I've seen this. I saw his tweets for a long time, not knowing who he was, and the same for Code Monkey. I remember people retweeting that guy a lot, and
so like my experience with it was, especially as an early internet adopter and an early on the message boards and like forums as they became a thing. I distinctly remember, like, I never was on 8chan, definitely not on 8kun, whatever it became. I was never even on 4chan, but I had friends who were, and I knew real quick, this is not a place for me. The internet gets, and that's on this side of the dark web. Imagine how bad it can get.
Yeah.
It's a wild place. And I've been sort of prodding like people back home in Clarksdale, like, to find out if Jim Watkins is actually like tooling around Clarksdale, or if he just kind of did that to like be petty and for that series. He wanted to flex a little and then just moved on.
I don't know if he has money left, because I think he spent all his money, so maybe he has to live someplace more affordable than
that. Wouldn't
Los
surprise
Angeles.
Me. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. And also, I know that like he can't go back to Manila. Like he
can't
there. From what I hear, he burned his bridges there, so he can't go back to Manila.
He sold his pig farm.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so wild.
Weird.
This is Clarksdale. This is Clarksdale. This is what happens. This town attracts weird. Like,
it birthed the blues, and
it did. It birthed
QAnon and all manner of things.
Let's not give it birth in QAnon, please.
No.
That on my hometown.
No, that. Oh gosh, yeah. No, that started as a LARP.
Yeah. We've got we've got this great like greasy spoon diner burger place called Delta Amusement that has like crawfish in the summers, and it's just a great bar. But the owner, like, just hasn't given a shit since 1973 kind of guy. You know what I mean? One day, so Dan Aykroyd used to come to Clarksdale pretty regularly. He's a big fan.
He is,
blues fan. He actually donated one of the cars from the Blues Brothers movie to the Hobson plantation outside of Clarksdale. And then came back later and gave them the horn that goes on the top of it. It's so great. So he walks into this diner, Delta Amusement, one day, and it's after they've already shut the grill down, right? Like they're closed. There's no more food for the day. It's like after 1. I think he came in at like 2. And he comes in and he says, "Hey, I was wondering if I can get," and the owner just does not care. Said, "Grill's closed." So I was just wondering, grill's closed. Like turns him away. comes over to the music store. We're all hanging out. It's after 5. We're drinking beer in the music store. It's just what we do. And he walks in and says, so yeah, I think I had to run Chevy Chase out of my restaurant today. And we're like, Dan Aykroyd? He's like, yeah, that guy. Like
Chevy Chase, I would run out of the restaurant.
Oh yeah,
Dan Aykroyd, I would not run out.
no, me either. But it's such a weird town. I love Clarksville. Everybody should come. April Juke Joint Festival. I recommend it to everybody. Pack for cold and hot because we genuinely don't know until the day before. It's crazy.
That's how it's been up here, dude. It was like 80 degrees, up to close to 80 the other day, and then it's back to 55 today. My heat's on.
Yeah, it's a little chilly today because it rained, so it was a little overcast and chilly. But yesterday it was just terrible. I went running yesterday because I was trying to beat the rain, and it's also hot and humid, and it starts to pour on me. So I decide I run in my neighborhood, and so I found some yards that don't have fences. So I was like, I've got to get back because I was at like the farthest point from so I'm like going to cut through yards, and I cut through yards, and I go to cross a ditch, and the mud swallowed my shoe. I had to turn around, go back, and dig my shoe in the rain out of the mud. It was miserable.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah. I forget you're a runner. You do full marathons or halves?
I've done 2 full marathons at this point. Both of them were the St. Jude Marathon. I did it in 2017 and 2019. I'm hoping to do it again this year. We'll see. I put on a lot of weight last year, not running and not doing anything. So we'll see if I can get back up to the distance.
Yeah, I've done 2 halves. They were both rock and roll halves.
Oh yeah.
So I did the Nashville, then I did the Savannah, Georgia. I was supposed to run the full in Nashville, but I got really injured the week after my 10-mile training run. Yeah. And my husband did the full, and I'm very glad that I opted to not.
So my first one in 2017, I signed up for the full, was planning to run the full. I fundraised for the full, and my training just fell off track. And so the longest run I got before the race day was 11 miles, like 11 and a half. So I get to race week, and I've got this buddy of mine, Joe, who also does not listen to this podcast. Joe he's in the National Guard. He plays in the band. He's a trombonist. He's a band director. It's what he does for a living. But he decided after college, he needed something to stay active. He used to do DCI marching band, and they stay in great shape to do DCI. Those folks work real hard. So he started running and like took off. Like at this point, he's done 100-miler. You know what I mean? I think there was a year he did 40 marathons in a year. Like he's nuts. He'll turn around and do like marathons on back-to-back days.
And you gotta have hobbies.
Yeah, he's got to have a hobby, and so
that's fine. I'm happy for him, but damn.
Oh yeah, no, it's dumb. It's a lot of running.
I don't like running 2 5Ks in a row. Like, and I was doing like sub 35Ks over the summer.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just really tired of my legs hurting all the time.
And they do. And that's the thing he told me. He said it never stops hurting. You just get used to it. And so. But he convinced me as I was getting ready. I let him talk me into too much shit. Joe's good at this. He let me talk me into shit. And he said, "No, dude, just run 2 minutes, walk 1 minute, run 2 minutes." He said, "You can do the whole thing." And so I'm there.
Takes 6 hours, but yeah, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I hit which is my typical pace anyway, actually, so it's fine.
Yeah, my 5K was, my half was just under 3 hours. I'm not really much of a runner.
Oh no, my first half is still my PR. Like my personal record was still my first, but at a mile 11 of the St. Jude, around that, every year changes just a little, but around mile 11, that's where you have to like do or die moment. That's where you have to make the choice. Am I running the full, or do I turn and follow the half marathoners? And I made the very poor life decision to continue down the route and not. And so I was good until about mile 17, right? Well, actually about mile 15. I developed blisters on both of my feet, and I was fine until then. And it got hard, and I started walking. And around mile 17, I was about ready to give up. I was like, no, I can't.
And it's about once you start walking that, like,
and it was pain. That the blisters were just pain. And then about that time, this woman runs up next to me and starts walking with me
Oh,
because the heat was getting to her, right? And
yeah.
she is honest to goodness in a Supergirl outfit. Like no lie,
Yeah.
she's running in a
I like
Supergirl.
people who do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she starts talking to me and she's like talking about how hot it is. And I'm telling her, yeah, the heat, but also, you know, like my feet are just destroying me. And so we start talking and she tells me her story about her son who developed an extremely rare kind of cancer, like hyper aggressive. And so she came to St. Jude as part of an experimental treatment. And even if the kids got the experimental treatment, you know, it's like a 50% survival.
Oh.
And then she told me that this is 2017. She said in 2018, her son was turning 18 and going to run the full with her that next year. And at that point, I was like, no,
Oh God.
finishing this. If
Yeah.
you do that, I can finish this race. And I
Oh my
did. It
God.
hurt. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons I donate to charity, to St. Jude specifically, because stories like that. Wow, that's a wild ride.
That's an emotional story. I get really emotional when I do any race, but especially like the halves. Like just hearing strangers cheer you on, you're like, oh my God. Like it really hits me right there.
St. Jude's hateful. And I mean this in the nicest way. Mile 6, you run through the St. Jude campus and the kids are lining the way cheering you on.
Oh God.
You know how hard it is to run that mile and a half?
When you're crying,
Yeah,
it's really hard to run when you are crying.
Yeah.
Starts.
Oh,
Like
so
I've boxed through crying because I'm like a boxer. That's my preferred fitness mode. Like I'll be like so flustered and I'll be like throwing, but I can't run. I can't run while I'm like emotional.
Yeah,
and that was another reason I kind of stopped running back after those halves, is because I had so much anxiety. Everyone was like, oh, running's great for your mental health. You just burn the anxiety. But like for me, it just triggers like a weird fight or flight response. So it just makes me more anxious. So I just stopped running when I had a really stressful job. Like I just couldn't. I was like, I either wake my ass up and run in the morning, which I could do sometimes because I'm just not a morning person, and that way, or I try to run after work and am just like incapable of it.
See, yeah, I'm the opposite. Running is a de-stressor for me.
That's for most people.
I go through the peaks and valleys of being really consistent with running, and it's more stress relieving when it's consistent because you're just better at it. And then like it's just frustrating when you fall off for a little while and you're trying to get back into it, which is where I am right now. But I love it. I'll keep doing it. It's also because I really get into it because heart disease runs in my family. And while cancer, I may not be able to do anything about, you know, you can live like as clean and careful as you can and still end up with cancer. I can do something about most heart disease, you know.
Yeah.
I can
Totally.
there.
Yeah.
So I promise, guys, we are mostly a music podcast.
We're a people podcast.
It's people podcast. There you go. That's a great way to put it. So how are things going with Sunday Crush? Y'all looking at any gigs coming up?
Well, our vinyl finally got delivered.
Did it?
That was a fun stutter.
I knew you were talking about it.
Well, vinyl's always has like a really long lead time in like normal times. 4 to 6 months isn't unusual.
Right.
And so we signed on a publicity company, and they suggested we move our vinyl from where it was in progress but hadn't started to a different place. And then 6 months later, we finally had our vinyl. So basically, the whole thing was delayed. Like our record came out on Black Friday, so that is literally 6 months ago.
Yeah. Wow.
And so people have just finally gotten the pre-orders. Felt really bad about that, but but as far as gigs, we have some leads. Right now, my singer's in Texas, and we'll be back in a couple weeks, and we're gonna start writing some new things. We're gonna start trying to get some gigs. Right. A local record store really wants us to do an in-store there, so we'll probably do that pretty early on. And we have some leads on some live streaming things, although I hope that's not necessary.
Yeah, I'm so over the live streaming thing.
It's
nice.
We did 2 of them, and they were fun, and we got some decent assets out of them. But both, like either the sound would cut out sometimes, which was the first one, or they weren't synchronized properly, which was the second one we did, which was a bummer because I went back and watched it. I'm like, I knew as we were doing, like, my jumps were timed perfectly, and I was really proud of myself. And I look back, and it just looks like I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I'm like, I look like such a turd. I'm like, God.
Beat and a half after you're jumping kind of thing.
I was trying to do my best Steve Selvage, and it just, nah.
Just didn't come out.
Oh, it just didn't come out. I practiced those squat jumps for nothing.
Oh, no, the squat jump was fine. It was the timing that was awful.
I was perfect. I was perfect. No, I was good. Got some good pictures. We were all dressed up. So yeah, hopefully we'll do some new stuff, be writing some stuff. We put out a cover of the Santa Gold song Lights Out for a charity compilation called Eat the Rich.
Oh yeah.
And you can get that on Bandcamp. What?
I hear that tastes great.
The Rich, oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Really, really good marbling.
Yeah. Well, you know, down here in the South, we just batter and deep fry. So
yeah. Well, you know, it's just like it's just mostly it's pork. Just like probably tastes like pig. If fried green tomatoes is to be believed.
Oh, that's true. You know. Oh God, I have this weird like fact in my head that I'm going to have to share now that we're talking about this.
Do it.
You sent me down the cannibalism route. So
oh boy, we're about to get canceled like Army Hammer.
Oh yeah, no, this is. So there's and I'm going to be real bad. I'm not going to give people the names. They can research it themselves. But there's basically this soup that used to be made by particular Central American tribes in pre-imperialism in Central America. And what they did is it was like they made this big ritual of like their version of like convicted criminals, like sacrificing them and turning them into this soup. And of course, when the Spanish came in and, you know, Christianized and colonized Central America, they're like, no, you can't do that anymore. And so but they didn't want to completely eradicate the culture of the area because they didn't want them rising up against them, essentially is what it was. So they suggested they use pork instead. And there's apparently written accounts of this civilization reacting to pork instead of human, and they were basically like, it tastes the same.
Oh no.
So we actually do have historical record that pork does pretty much taste like people.
I think my idea on that was knowing that, see, this is also dark, that scientists use pig corpses to replicate decaying human bodies for crime scene investigations. And that's how you can kind of guess how long a body's been in a swampy swamp or an open field.
Yeah. You know, and this is where all the PETA folks have turned us off at this point and left all the nasty reviews. But it's like
PETA, you know, they can eat me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Oh, there was a show called like Deadliest Warrior, right? And to like demonstrate the lethal ability of certain bladed weapons, they would hang pigs and demonstrated. I learned that weird random fact. I promise I don't just randomly go researching the history of cannibalism. I learned it because I spent 2 years in my 20s as a vegan.
Oh.
And I tell people that, and people freak out. And even then, people freaked out like, well, you're wearing leather boots. Dietary vegan, not lifestyle vegan, is what I always told them.
That's a heart disease thing too?
Yeah, totally heart disease. I learned 2 facts around the same time that coincided. Like my uncle had his first major heart attack at like 49. And I heard these 2 facts simultaneously. One was that they basically didn't have a record of anyone, and someone please fact check these because these sound outrageous now that I think about them. But there was no record of a heart attack in anyone who had cholesterol under 150. And at around the same time I heard that, the average cholesterol of a vegan was 133. So suddenly there was this, it's like, oh, vegans get to avoid heart attacks, which sounds ridiculous, but it was one of those moments, you know, something happens to someone in your family and it scares you health-wise kind of thing.
Heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a fun thing. So I did that, and around that time, there was this thing going around called Hufu. I don't know if you ever heard of Hufu. It was supposedly human flavored tofu. And so the big thing was, well, how does this person know? Like, how does the creator? And to this day, as far as I'm aware, the creator, I'm going to put that in air quotes, claims that it was a legitimate thing. The rest of the internet says no, it was some elaborate hoax. It would never actually existed. It was all to be a joke. But I really hoped it was, because I was going to, as a vegan, prepare a tofu dinner for my friends and not tell them that it was hufu. But
I just typed human flavored into Google, and the first thing, like, do you mean, was hufu, and
yeah.
the second one was ice cream.
Oh, God. That sounds disgusting.
The hufu website was in existence from 2005 to 2006.
Yep. It was a wild story. It was a fun thing. I was really sad to find out it was not real. So
yeah, that's nasty. But now I have to look at the human flavored ice cream.
Oh, see, this is where the podcast goes completely off the rails. We go way down a rabbit hole.
You thought we started strong, y'all. Oh, this is
that reaction for listeners. Emily's reaction is one of absolute and utter astonishment at whatever it is she just saw.
I don't want to tell you.
And horror, maybe.
I don't want to tell you. No, it wasn't human. It's actual weird ice cream flavors, and horse flesh is on here.
Ooh.
And that's sold in Tokyo. Pickled mango, which does not sound bad. Corn on the cob, I would not eat. I would try that. Foie gras sounds bad. Pear and blue cheese sounds great, honestly. Ghost pepper sounds like a no thank you.
Oh, no, I'd totally do that in an ice cream, and that might be the only way I would do ghost pepper.
I just
because it's like the milk built in.
Good.
It's the milk built in.
Yeah. Bourbon and cornflake sounds good.
What?
Bourbon and cornflake. That's in San Francisco. Fig and fresh brown turkey. Lobster. Nah.
Sometimes you just have to wonder why.
Creole tomato.
You know, it's one of those things where I need to take a quote out of context, and people should just start applying it in other places. It's Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park. You were so preoccupied with whether or not you could, you never stopped to figure out whether or not you should. That's what this sounds like to me.
Well, it's like Jones Soda sold the Thanksgiving soda pop.
Yeah, no, that sounds gross too. That sounds awful.
Oh, it is gross.
I remember hearing stories of friends who had, like, you know, jaws broken and they had to wire their mouth shut, and their parents tried to do them a favor and blend up meals so they could drink them through a straw. And I'm like, that's the most disgusting shit I've ever heard.
No, just give them Ensure. Give them Ensure. Maybe some really, really creamy potato soup.
Yep.
Nobody wants beef that's beef tartare for my poor child with the mouth wide shut.
I distinctly remember one describing blended fried catfish once, and I just don't want to know how that worked. I don't want to know how that worked.
Cat food?
Catfish.
No, I'm saying it would taste like cat food.
Oh, yeah. It's got to. Yeah.
So,
back to guitar. I'm bringing this away from disgusting foods. I'm sure you're not going, but Summer Dam looks like it's happening.
I might go.
You might go?
I mean, I lived in Nashville for 8 years. I would like to go back, see some friends. Yeah.
I was kind of curious about that because, like, I've been talking to some other podcasters, and I'm going to Nashville, going to be staying with some other podcasters so we can cut some costs.
Who?
Oh, well.
Who is not inviting me to their party?
I don't know if I need to go throwing them all.
Oh, it's Diaz, isn't it?
Well, since we've already talked about that on the podcast, it is Diaz and Scott from the Effects Loop. Got a couple of others who are coming. There's a couple who aren't 100% confirmed, so I don't want to throw their names out there on the podcast. I'll tell you after it's over who all's going. But
I'll just sleep under my friend's Grammys collection again.
I'm trying to think, who do I know in Nashville with Grammys? I've got a couple of friends, not with multiple.
He's got 3 or 4.
I've got a
Okay.
friend with a Grammy. So now that I think about it,
Mm.
I've got a few with Grammy nominations, but
Yeah.
only one friend that actually I think has won one. I think only one. At least I only have one friend I know has won one. Maybe
Who
that's
brags about their Grammys?
it's on every flyer she's on, kind of thing. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
oh.
And
Uh,
whatever.
I
Neither
just
here
joke
nor there.
about mine. I took a business call once from this friend's sofa, and I was like, "Would you like to see a like a couple real Grammy awards?" And like picked up the computer. It's like,
Uh,
look,
oh,
impresses
I'm
people.
pumped. It's gonna be my first NAM, and
Nice.
I'm super excited. I love Nashville. You know, you lived there for a while, lived in Murfreesboro for a little while. It's one of my favorite cities in the U.S. Um, and I just love going and hanging out, and so gonna go try to get some coverage, try to meet some people, see some things.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's new stuff coming out to talk about. It feels like, and this is what I was really wanted to get to, it feels like it started out slow as people weren't sure whether they were going, whether it was really happening, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and now, like, the list of people going's like grown. Like now Gibson and Yamaha and Reverend's a small name on the list. Gretsch is gonna be there.
Well,
Fender's not
Gibson better go. Fender's
yeah,
not going to
because
be
they're right
there.
there. They are not on
Mm.
the the graphic that I've seen unless they've been
Wow.
added. I feel like there are some people who are adding last minute as they're seeing, oh, it's actually going to happen. It's going to happen. We need to get in.
I bet I
But
have some clients who go.
oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt. That's why one of the things I knew you might know some folks who might be going that I don't even know about yet. But
Well, these are clients who usually talk to us kind of late about these kinds of things.
oh, I
And it's
got you.
like I really learned how firsthand exactly how last minute the winter virtual NAM came together.
Yeah, no, it felt like it. It felt like it. It I have been pretty the couple of times it's come up, I've been pretty vocal. It's kind of bad. It's kind of terrible for me. I think I was pretty burned out on virtual by then already, but
Yeah.
also it just felt like a lot of companies just recycled content from other places to
They
have something.
had. It was
Yeah,
that was really frustrating,
yeah,
honestly, like as a user experience. Like my clients did all live stuff, but I was like, "Oh, cool, I really want to watch this boss thing." And then I realized it was just the thing from the previous year and you're like, "Ah." And then
yeah,
some were literal commercials, which was kind of a bummer, but on
yeah,
one hand, I get people are doing things last minute. Then a couple brands like Mackie just went all in, and they got tons of engagement from it because they actually did something. And
yeah.
I found everything really difficult to navigate. It was hard,
Yeah, I
and I
never
think
watched
they knew it.
everything.
Yeah.
I know everybody's like, don't need NAM, don't need NAM. Need something. Even if you don't need NAM, you
Well,
need something that's not virtual because virtual sucked.
I
I
know Fender really. Fender just, I think, took all the money they were going to spend at NAMM and then sent out more demo units, did more
yeah,
promotion, did some more like traditional marketing. And I think they were like, "Oh, that's cool. That is, less work for us and
yeah. I think it's
probably cost less."
I think that was a smart move. I think that should have
Yeah.
been the play for a lot of people. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm excited to eat some hot chicken. Uh,
Always.
some not Hattie B's. Uh,
Not Hattie B's.
not yeah. Jesse and I from talked about that on last episode.
That's gentrified hot chicken.
Yeah, exactly. I told him it's decent for fried chicken. It's
It's
not
where
my favorite hot chicken.
it's where I would take out of towners who didn't want to go to where Prince's used to be.
Yeah.
Like I was not going to take my mom out to actual Prince's. I would take her to Hattie B's, you
No,
know.
and like even Prince's, like the truck I go to now because it's the easiest one to access when I'm downtown is the one outside Yeehaw Brewing. On their like they have that big patio and outdoor area. I don't know if you know where I'm talking about.
Yeehaw?
Yeah, Yeehaw Brewing. I think that's right. Oh, you got me saying
Yazoo?
no. I,
That wasn't there when I was.
yeah,
That was not there when I was in
yeah. It's
Nashville.
over on 6th and Peabody.
So, bro. Sorry, I really just fuck. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm getting a lot of like bad feelings. Like the company I worked for in Nashville, I really didn't like. Every year we put on this event called the Sobro Festival. And I remember one year we did it was just like everyone who was working in that building. There was a dunk tank, and we were just so fucking miserable. And we made shirts to sell. We thought it was going to be huge. Well, I didn't.
Yeah.
Somebody did. Somebody who bought the shirts. I had so many Sobro Fest shirts, and to be fair, they were quite soft.
Oh
Let's see
wow.
what used to be there. Oh, there's the new Prince is.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
And
this is actually really close to where my office was.
yeah, it's decently close to the city center.
It's really like it is
Yeah,
next door.
exactly. So they have a patio area that has like a little like stage area, like basketball and like foosball and some other stuff going on, and a Princess truck that just stays parked there.
Nice.
Yeah,
I was gonna go to the Nolansville one because I figured it would be less hectic.
yeah, yeah. I didn't mind it. The bar's a little meh. I mean, the bar's fine. It's a Nashville
The
gentrified
real
bar.
the original Princess didn't have a bar.
Oh no, I mean the bar at that Yeehaw Brewing. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that place itself is fine. The truck is the
I'm
only thing.
sorry. With a name like Yeehaw Brewin, I just don't
Oh, it's
trust
awful.
you.
No, the
Sounds
truck's the
awful.
only place that has any authenticity, and that's probably why they want it there because it's the only authentic thing there. But
Yeah, gosh, even when I moved to Nashville, I always felt like Lower Broadway felt like downtown Disney. And then as I lived there longer and longer, more and more people moved there from
mhm,
like places with money.
yeah,
And so I was just like watching like people come in, buy everything with cash, and prices were increasing of living was increasing way faster than wages. And my husband and I were like, Seattle's expensive, but at least they pay more than 7.25 an hour. And yeah,
yep.
I haven't regretted it. I love Nashville a lot, and I don't really miss living there.
No, me either. I miss being close enough, a little closer. I'm 4.5 hours away now, 5 hours away now. It's not too bad. It's drivable. It's not a day trip. You got
Yeah.
to plan it, but it's doable. But like even
Mr.
Murfreesboro,
Burger.
we stayed. I think I mentioned it. We stayed there for something not too long ago, and even Murfreesboro, like when I was there, it was like 75,000 people. Now it's almost 150,000 people
Ugh, that's a
in
lot of
less
people.
than 20 years.
Oof,
Yeah. No, it's
so many
nuts. So
people.
so many people.
Mr.
So
Burger.
so Nam,
It
if you come,
here.
let me
Sorry.
know. And we'll see what we can do. I'm hoping to make some decent content while I'm there. Uh-oh.
I'm
Now you're
sorry.
going down memory lane of Nashville
Oh
stuff.
my god. The Mr. Burger it here sign. Oh, I used to drive past that Mr. Burger every time I'd leave work and go to visit my husband where he lived at the time we started
Uh-huh.
dating. So now I'm just like Mr. Burger with a little burger with the mustache and the chef's hat.
Oh, okay.
And then the sign just says it here.
See, I never
I'm so
like did the
sorry.
whole like Nashville Disneyland, Lower Broadway, all that stuff. I guess now it's starting to stretch into it, but I always loved the area over by like Cafe Coco, Diego
Yeah, the
Inn.
rock block area.
Yeah, all that area. I loved all that stuff.
They
That's why.
better not tear down the Exodus.
No, they better not. They better not.
They
Um,
kill them all, of course.
but yeah, that's coming up. It looks like more companies are jumping on board more and more, enough that people are like, okay, I need to make plans. I need to actually be there. So actually,
And
I
now that
talked.
I've looked at Mr. Burger, I'm like, I think I need to go. No, I'm with you. I want to go and capture some content. It's pretty hard at normal NAM, but at summer, it's just a tad quieter. It's a lot
Chill.
smaller, a lot easier to manage.
Yeah,
I don't know if there'll be parties and things like String Joy's party or anybody, but
I
I
do.
just
I do know at least one company's throwing a party. I won't call them out. I also was not invited, so
ooh,
yeah.
I want all of the dish.
I will share information as soon as we hit stop recording. So,
Nice.
but yeah, I think it's awesome. It'll be exciting to go. Like I said, my first one as a content creator, so it'll be good stuff. I'm pumped, but it feels like we're starting to actually feel like we're coming out of this. Like we're starting to
Yeah.
see the light.
You have 3 gigs.
Yeah,
Summer NAMM is coming up.
I'm so excited to play live music again.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm fully vaccinated. My
yeah.
my mom calls it Emancipation Day was last Friday.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough that somehow we talked Mississippi into considering public librarians educators. And so
Ooh.
I've been
Well, they are.
fully vaccinated since beginning of April.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so I'm very, very happy. And now it's at a point where, and my wife is now fully vaccinated. Her second shot hit her hard. It hit
my
me
dude
pretty
hard.
good, but it hit her pretty hard. But now she's fully vaccinated. So we're like, tearing off our masks and we're ready to go. Well, so places make us do it, but CDC, of course, says that we can all hang out together fully vaccinated without masks. So I'm down trusting them. So, in the meantime, I guess we can wrap up so I can share with you all the things I can't share on the air.
Yeah, I'm good at keeping secrets.
Yeah. Which is awesome. So, listeners, 40 Waters, we appreciate you hanging out and listening to us riff about a few things and talk about gear. And I really appreciate Emily coming on so last minute.
Yeah, sorry we didn't talk about gear more.
Yeah, it's okay. There's always more gear to talk about. And now we're, like I said, we're coming into gigs, we're coming into NAMM. There's going to be lots of gear opportunities to talk about. And hey, maybe if we're all at NAMM, I'm going to have my podcasting gear, so maybe we can actually grab an episode or two while we're there live in person. Look at that.
I'm trying to figure that setup out.
Yeah. So, listeners, I appreciate y'all. Remember, go find 40 Watt Podcast on all social media. Go to patreon.com, support the podcast. I really appreciate it. For less than a cup of coffee a month, you can help not only me, but you can support a really great charity in St. Jude Children's Hospital for this year. Click the affiliate link down below. Sign up for Reverb. You don't even have to buy anything. Just sign up. You may want something later. You may not even be a musician. I do know there's a couple of non-musicians that listen to this podcast.
They also sell toys that are fun.
They do. They sell toys.
Sell lots of things.
You can get a little bit of video or camera gear occasionally. There's wild stuff on there. So actually shared it with a fraternity brother of mine who is a strings player. And I was in a music fraternity, for those of you who thought I was just a total bro just then. But no, it's like a nerdy music fraternity. It's great. But he's a strings player, and he realized, oh crap, they do have stuff I could use. So he signed up. I'm like, appreciate the affiliate link follow. But click all those things. I'm also going to have Emily and Get Offset's podcast information down below. Click on it, follow them, check them out. I think you'll like what you hear. And until then, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and make some noise.